Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 21st of April. So in what has been quite an ugly week on the markets, we finally got a whole bunch of data today. We had more weak US dollar data yesterday. Let's have a look at today's risk events, and there's plenty of them. I should point out we've got this morning then starting at 8:15 starting at 8:15 we got the French services and manufacturing data coming out at 8:15, and the German at 8:30. We've got the summary of the overall figures at 9, which is less of a mover, but then at 9:30 we've got the UK figures. We've already seen retail sales coming out quite ugly today. It's not on here, but it's come out quite ugly. They're putting it down to the cold weather, nothing to do with the tightening in conditions, of course. Anyway, Canadian data, that 130 retail sales. Be interested to see just to see what consumers are up to at the moment worldwide. And then in the US we got some flash manufacturing data now, and services. Services very important again. So we've got a lot of key data out there today. If it's going to be more of the same, well, what we're looking at in the markets at the moment is very much a sort of a risk off. The money, even though the US data is rubbish, the money's going to US bonds, and the yen is also benefiting. They're also putting it down to relationship between the US and China, but of course the money's still going back to the US bonds. So on that note, let's have a look through at the technicals. I really see very little potential today when I'm looking at these markets, and I won't be shoved into anything too quickly. It's been my worst week for a long time in terms of price action and moves. So oops, I'll come back to the euro there. It's alright, it's almost going to skip it. It's that fun. It's been a choppy old week, and you can see when you look back at it now, you realise how choppy it's been. It's not really been going anywhere. Haven't been trying to trade the euro too much. Had an early trade in the beginning of the week, and that was that. And the rest of it, well, it's ugly. Now it has sold off. The S1's obviously got a good chance of being hit. Prior lows sort of sitting there, but we'll see how the morning goes through. Personally, I'll let all the data come out first, so not in any rushes to get into any positions, but we'll just look technically at these key markets. The pound, I expect more weakness overall, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see weakness in the numbers coming out. It's again a horrible week in terms of chop, but there we go. It just shows the last couple of days in particularly, and well, it's there. I think traders have just stayed out of them, and I forgot to mention speakers. We'll have a quick look at the speakers in a moment. But US dollar yen, well, the yen is actually benefiting from this data. Was looking for the short side last week, which we got to a degree, but not to the degree I wanted it to. We're seeing it roll back a little bit at the moment. Whether this is anything long term, I mean, most of yesterday until 1 o'clock it was sitting there quite ugly. 1 o'clock it broke down, but then since then, well, it's working its way down slowly. Aussie dollar still in its main range here. It's I probably attempted this. I got into an Aussie dollar on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I attempted it maybe too early because it wasn't nearer. It's nearer the top of its range, and it's well, it then pushed up further against me, and now it's rolling potentially. But there is this pivotal area that sits around the lows here, which well, price drops and closes below that, I'll be a bit more pessimistic, be a bit more short hunting on the Aussie, but we'll see. US dollar CAD is just being sold off. The CAD's been probably a cleaner sell-off than anything else. It's just pushed up and pushed up here. Again, early in the week expected it to roll off the weekly pivot more and continue, but it reversed and rallied. So again, US dollar benefiting. nothing to add there. So I can go through all the other pairs. There really isn't anything here this morning that I like. So as much as I'd like to say, well, we've got some trades here or there, I think these markets are best left alone this morning. So I'm going to leave them alone. On that note, let's have a quick look at what has happened elsewhere. Normally with gold you see some action, but the US dollar's been strong. So gold coming off there, regardless of the fears out there. Gold being sold off. It's really ranging this week. It's ranged between its weekly pivot and the S1. Looks like it might have some more downside, but of course all things can change as we get to 8 o'clock, and then change back at 10, and then 1. But choppy old occasions. Okay, that was gold. Oil. So oil's continuing to fill that gap. Mentioned it yesterday. I think I might have mentioned it the day before. But anyway, it's in a decent roll down here. Stronger US dollar generally affects this as well. So it's sort of a bit of a double whammy. But looks like that gap's going to get filled. Cleanest movement ever when you look at it from an hourly perspective. Bit of chop through the Asian sessions and late US sessions. Actually it's a morning session still kicking through there. Just looking at the timings here, it has got choppy in the afternoon but then ran through. Anyway, soft and weak at the moment and probably more downside. Looking at the equity markets then, well, we saw the CSI 300 rolling over tensions etc and not helping things here. The Nikkei it closed down on the day. It's running into this sort of resistance area up here, struggling a little bit at the moment. Maybe next week it'll push back through or have a go, but we're seeing a general weakness in the equity markets, and it could catch on the Nikkei as well eventually. Nifty 50 just now where it's dancing now or consolidating at this sort of stage here. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it roll off further. It's if it's consolidation around its top, I would expect some more movement, but well, it's hand railing the trend line at the moment, so we'll see what develops from there. Just for those Aussies out there, let's just look at the Aussie 200 consolidation continue. It's struggling to push up any higher. News today probably hasn't helped things too much. S&P's still consolidating, rolling back somewhat. Pulled back yesterday. These equity markets all came off a little bit, coming away from the tops at the moment. Maybe flags, but I think really there you go. This sums it up. Probably the best is the Nasdaq, just consolidation and a road to nowhere. So the cheerful old note, isn't it? DAX. Well, DAX is off this morning, he says. Yeah, it's not off this morning at all. It was off yesterday. Well, it's off at the moment. Just chopping along here. Consolidation, wedge pattern. Could be looking the way this has moved. Could see the breakdown here. That's quite a fall off yesterday morning. We could see similar the way it's shaping up at the moment. The FTSE really following suit here. It did end up on a positive note yesterday, and it's holding better. It's remaining around its highs here, so it's got more of a potential to push up here. The way the consolidation's coming through, not really gone anywhere all week though. When you look at it here, pretty choppy and sideward. Okay, eventually that might push up. If the markets do push up, it could move up nicely. Unlike the last time when it was consolidating below its highs here and fell away, this time at the moment at least it's consolidating around its highs, so I expect it to push up a bit better. Right, that's pretty much it. We'll quickly look at the cryptos as it's Friday. Even these aren't doing any good. Bitcoin coming off. The thing is here, it's now broken the prior highs here. Well, I say now broken, it broke it on Wednesday. We're seeing it selling off at the moment. I noticed the other day there was mention about Ethereum, a lot of Ethereum being deposited into accounts to on exchanges which often point to potential selling if nothing's really happening with it, and well, it's not looking the strongest either. It's a similar picture. In fact, it really does look like it's potentially rolling over as well here. So similar across the board. Just have a look at Litecoin. Same. Ripple. There you go. Ripple's broken lower highs. Ripple really looking soft here at the moment. It looks like it's got further downside. It's certainly behind the curve there. So not a cheerful market there for the weekend. So I wish you all the best if you're trading that. You might be on the short side if you're actually physically trading it as opposed to just holding the coins. Right, on that happy note, morning in, I'm going to wish you a really great weekend, and maybe it's time to have a little rest. A long weekend. Have a good one. Bye for now.